Hello, welcome to Heartland Stamping and the Color My World group. We are stamping today using a 2025 to 2027 in color, and that is Darling Duckling. This is a great yellow. It has a hint of green to it, so it's not like that perfect butter yellow, but it is great for fall. I've really enjoyed using it with the Pears suite that we have right now. And our card that we're going to make, if you have the kit for this, is a fun fold card. So I've got a piece of cardstock, or not cardstock, sorry, designer series paper. And this is 11 by, let me make sure. No, 12, sorry. I did one the other day and it was 11, and all of a sudden I realized, no, this one is 12. So 12 inches by 5.5. All right, so when it's folded, it's going to be a size that will fit in one of our envelopes. So then it opens up. When you make one of these, your paper has two sides. You have to decide what's going to be your primary side. And also when you're cutting, remember, if it's just the general pattern like this one, you don't have to worry about which side is going up. But this side, the pears are all sitting this direction. So you want to make sure that your paper, when you cut it, will reflect that. If the pears were all sideways, it would look kind of funny. So let's get started. Now, when you guys get the tutorial, it will have all the measurements for this, and the one that I send you for the kit will of course be already scored, so don't worry about that. But let's talk about what else is in your kit. You're going to have 3 of the everyday arches, and let me grab those so we can talk about which ones I used. It was not the biggest one. It is if you start counting from the outside, that's how I usually count them. This is number 1, then this is number 2, number 3, number 4, and so on. So the first one is the number 2. The next one should skip down to the number 4, and then the next one will skip down to the number 6. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We wanted to have a bigger kind of mat thing going on. And if you did just first 3 in a row, so 1, 2, and 3, those, just look up at the top, would be closer together like that. So that's the trick to that one. So I'm going to give you some of these pieces, and I'll go ahead and die cut them because I know not everyone has the die cuts for these. But these are designer series paper, the pear, and then the 2 pears, and then this leaf goes with that pear. You'll get a die cut vine and some different die cut flowers so you can decorate it any way you want. There's going to be a belly band, and you don't have to use a belly band, but if you want one, there will be one in there. I've got a piece of basic beige cardstock for a saying, and I might make yours a little bit bigger so that you can have a bigger saying. Then if you need to, you can trim it down, and that'll make it easier. And like I said, you'll get the 3 arches. I think that's all. Maybe a little ribbon. That might be the other thing in there. So that's what you should have in your kit. If you're missing any parts, just let me know. And let's go ahead and pull most of these over here out of the way. Maybe I'll just leave these up at the top. They're so cute. So all these little flowers are single, and then these are attached. And I'll have these in a tiny little Ziploc for you guys. Okay. So this is our smallest. I believe I said it was in the number 6 arch. And we're going to put that down here. And we're going to stamp a word, just word art all over this. So it's not going to be like one saying. So this is going to work great if you've got a happy birthday saying. You can have the stacked happy birthday, or you can have the long happy birthday, because you're going to cover it and you'll stagger them so they will get all of the words on there. So let's get, I hid that right underneath this paper. It's my Secret C. So Secret C is one of the colors in this Designer Series paper pack. And I really like it with the Darling Duckling. I could have used Mossy Meadow. Also, there was some pecan pie in there. But I like the Secret C with it. That's just another one of our colors, and I knew you would have that ink. So this thinks, I'm going to start with that one right in the middle. And then I'm going to stagger that a little bit. And I'm going to bring this one up here, and I'll stagger that a little bit. And then I'll come back and fill in. So right on that edge, right on that edge, because I want it to look like it was cut from one solid piece, right? There we go. Now this one, I'll be right in the middle again. And you just kind of keep alternating. This one. Make sure I got that inked up really well. This one's going to go right here. Now, sometimes people will do this, and they will just have one focal point that is full strength ink, and then the rest of them, they will do stamped off, so that they're all there, but you notice just that one. Let me see. I don't think that's going to look very good on there. So this one's smaller. Oh my gosh, I just got ink on my fingers. Whoops. So it would look like this. And then you would stamp off. Stamp off. And it's hard to remember to do that on all of these. But you get the idea. So that most of them are kind of that faded look, and then you have one that's a really strong look. So that's another way to do that kind of card. All right, so we are done with the thanks. Now we also have this one, so let's go ahead and stamp that. Do all our stamping at once. So on this piece, we are going to use this pear. So let's put this down here so we get our spacing. And the saying that I had to go with that, your kindness is so appreciated. And you could put that right up at the top, depending on where you're going to put your pear. Now you could put your pear up at the top, you could put your pear on the side, but you'll see why in a minute. I want my pear to be right down here in this corner. And I don't think it'll fit there. So we're just going to put it up top. Make sure we ink that up. Well, I'm not even pressing hard, and I caught ink on the side, so hopefully I just won't press really hard. When I press that down, be really gentle. There we go. Okay, that's good. So I'm going to put that back up there. And then we've got one more thing to stamp. There it is. So I've got a saying that goes with my thanks. Put that up there on my stamp cleaner before I put my hand on it. So I'm going to stamp this right in the middle, and then if I need to trim off a little bit, I can. You could also fussy cut this. It would be really cute if you fussy cut it. I've been fussy cutting a lot of words lately. So we've got that stamped. We've got this. think we're almost ready to put this guy together. So remember, we've got these 3 pieces, and it'll be scored for you guys, so just fold on those score lines. And I feel like it's easier if you put this one, the bottom one, in first. And kind of get that folded up so you can see where the spacing is going to be. And again, we're using basic beige instead of maybe white or vanilla. I feel like it went with this really well. There we go. All right, so this is the next one. Again, kind of keep that folded up so you can get that centered. So you want to try to center it from the sides and the top and bottom, but you also want to make sure that it's going to look good with this arch over here. So I think that's about the same. If you want to, and you have a little ruler, you can make sure it's about the same from each of those sides. And I think that's going to be good. Now remember, you don't want to put any glue right here because it'll stick down and get on this one. So just pick that up and literally just turn it like this and only put adhesive like on that section. Don't get adhesive any farther because you don't want that to glue down where it shouldn't be. There, that looks pretty even. Yep, I think that's gonna look good. Just a tiny bit. That looks pretty much the same all the way up. All right, so that was our secret C layer. And then we have this one. Now, it might make things a little more difficult, but I'm going to use dimensionals to attach this. And hopefully it won't interfere with my belly band too much, but I just want to pop that one up. And really, you could do all of these layers with some dimensionals, especially if you're not going to mail it and they're not going to double up or bulk up too much. So those 3 are going to be right there. And then I'm going to put my fingers right here. I'm going to put one right here on this very edge and one right here on this very edge. Whoops, forgot to take these dimensionals off. So there we go. Try to get that centered. And then when someone opens your card, it's going to look like that. How cute is that? All right, let's decorate it a little bit more. So let's go back here to this first page, and we're going to get our pear. And I did not use dimensionals on that, but I am going to on this pear. And this one, when I cut it, because I had to cut it out and then die cut it, my die cut showed just a little bit of a straight edge where I had to cut close to something else getting that out. So if you have that, just smooth that out a little bit. Now that's actually a cute pear with those leaves on the back. So you could do your pear out of something entirely different. All right, we'll peel these off. to put this right down here at the bottom, and I'm actually going to cover up that bottom corner. I want to leave plenty of room to read something, and I feel like that just sort of grounds that piece a little bit. We're going to do a leaf here. We're going to do a leaf here. Make sure that's going to work just fine. And I'm going to take a tiny dot of glue. I'm going to put that right there. And that will hold the bottom of that stem down onto our pear as well. We'll just peel those off. There we go. Now that is stuck on there very nicely. So we've got our words. That back piece is done. Now this one, we're going to do this right here. So we've got the so very much saying, and we'll have to trim that down a little bit. So my idea was to kind of do this at a bit of an angle with this vine. And then we've got some flowers. So, like I said, I've put in these petal pink flowers for you guys. That's going to kind of pull in that color there. So you could do that, or you can do a mixture. Put some of these little yellow ones in there too. And then if you don't care for the peach pink ones, then you could just do, there it is, that big section of those. And that really ties in more of the Darling Duckling flowers. So I liked having both the yellow and this. I thought that was pretty. So that's how I'm going to do mine. So that is my plan. And like I said, if you want to, you can fussy cut out this so very much. I'm going to do mine just across here. Pull it down. We'll put it just like that. Let's get some dimensionals. We're going to dimensional that too. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I don't want to dimensional that because of this vine. I said I want to put the dimensionals on everything. Just can't help it, can you? So we'll just put this on. And if you haven't put yours together yet, you guys, this is probably easier to do before you glue this down. I just got carried away. So that will go right like that. Now this piece, it's easy to take that one off. So that lines up pretty good. But this one, dimensionals are pretty forgiving, but glue is not. Just peel that up a little bit. There we go. All right, so do that before you glue it down. All right, so we've got our so very much. Now we're going to put this on, and I kind of want that to go right there. So depending on, you know, if you're doing a happy birthday, if you've got a cute little saying that goes along with that. If you don't have a saying and you don't want one, you wouldn't really have to have a saying. There we go. All right, so I've got just a bit of glue on each one of those. Don't want to cover up any of my words. And that's not going to be in the fold, so that's good. Now let's do our flowers. The flowers, I can do these with the dimensionals. That would be an easy one because they're large enough, right? So we'll stick those down really well. That's maybe overkill to put 3 on there for this, but now we know they're not going to go anywhere, right? There we go. Now, for these, a couple different ways you could put these on. These are going to be good with glue dots or maybe a drop of glue. I wanted to use glue dots, so let's grab some of those. I'm going to do the miniature glue dots. And I just stick them on there and then pull them off. Let's see, I wanted one right there. Now the other way you could do this, if you're worried about tearing your little flowers, is just to get some scissors, or take your pick tool, and decide where you want these dots to go. Ooh. Oh, that's much easier. See how it almost gets lost on that basic beige? So I'm trying to keep it on the olive or the secret sea. So maybe like that. And again, you've got this big section right here. I didn't see somebody layer that on top like that, but I think that's just a little too much. Sorry, I forgot what tool I had this dot on. And it's stuck to my paper. Well, good thing we have a bunch of those. So we're just gonna do that. Move that little flower. That's where this end comes in handy. That would just pick that up. Sometimes I totally forget to use that. I don't know why. Huh, it stuck to the wrong side better. Isn't that funny? All right, there's one more glue dot. Oh no. Stuck the edge of the petal on there. That wouldn't be good. Okay, so that is finally in place. Yay. And then the last thing we're going to do is our belly band. And our little pears. So, and you guys will get plenty of these little yellow flowers. You can do way more if you want. Now, with this belly band, I'm not going to score it at a time. Just gently fold it around. And you want it to be tight enough to where it's not going to fall off completely. But you don't want it to be so tight that you can't get it off and on. And then it meets up in the back. So it came off pretty easy. Let's see if you can get it on. Yep. So it'll go on pretty easy too. Great. That's about the right size. If when you folded it, there's just a little piece sticking off, you can easily just take your scissors and snip that. I know ours wasn't, but I just wanted to demonstrate that. And then you're going to glue that together. So again, to avoid getting glue in the wrong place, just put a little glue on this end and a little glue on this end, so that when you fold that over, those two glue ends each have something to stick to. There we go. All right. And then I'm going to put this right here in the middle. And again, that's die cut from Designer Series paper. And I've got a little bit of this basic beige ribbon, and we're just going to put that right on there with the glue dot. So let's, what do you think? Should we dimensional that? Sure. Why not? So let's pay particular attention to where we don't want them. We don't want them down here on this bottom third of these pears. So we'll just put that right here. One right there. And then right behind that leaf will be okay. All right, that should hold it on there pretty well. So we'll put that on. And then that basic beige ribbon, we're going to attach that with a glue dot. I feel like that is the best option for ribbon. Oh, those pesky dimensional backs. That one would not come off. What do you think? Down, down, down looks better. And then I'm going to use that bit of the knot just to pick that glue dot up. And there we go. So there is our card made from designer series paper and some die cuts. We'll just slide that off and we'll open that up. And then when it sits on the mantle, because of course they're going to set it on the mantle, it'll have that lovely, you know, it's kind of like a Z fold with a bit of an extra, a little bit extra on there. So I hope you guys enjoy this card. I can't wait to make this. You know, I've got some great holiday stuff, and I think it would look really cute with the snowflakes. And there's also some more traditional Christmas images that I've got that will go with that really well too. So, all right, I can't wait to see what you do with yours. And, you know, if you do something different over here, it'll be really cute. So if you can, share them in the group. And I will have these packets ready for you guys when you come to class this week. You'll be able to pick this up. And hopefully the cloud cover kits are ready too. The Timid Tiger is not for September, but we'll get those to you as soon as possible. Okay, thanks so much. You'll have a wonderful week, and thanks for stamping with me.